Hello and welcome again to Cup of Joe Canada. As always, I'm your host, Jason McNeil. Now today on the show, I want to talk about the recent decision by the Ontario government to raise minimum wage to $15. You may or may not have heard about it. You may or may not have seen recently in the news 15 in Fairness. It's a hashtag if you're on Twitter, 15 in Fairness. The movement has been going for a while to make this $15 minimum wage, $15 minimum wage. I gotta be honest, I think it's horse crap. Full disclosure, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is going to kill business in Ontario. I don't believe it will. I'm not going to tell you that it's disastrous for Ontario business, although I do believe that raising the minimum wage this much, this fast is probably a problem for a lot of small businesses. However, I don't know. I've lived in Ontario my whole life, and so I just kind of look at the trends that we're seeing right now. We've raised minimum wage since 2003 when the Liberals took over. We have raised the minimum wage 10 times. All right. So what you've seen is sort of what you can expect. Now the Liberals will point to the fact that we don't have high unemployment, right? So raising the minimum wage doesn't kill jobs. It doesn't make jobs go away. That's true. But what kind of jobs have we gotten in the last decade in Ontario? We've gotten precarious jobs, contract work, part-time jobs, jobs that don't want to pay benefits. So we've been raising the minimum wage, and companies are still hiring, but the jobs they're hiring us for are not as good. They're not as secure. They don't have the future benefits of the jobs that we used to get, right? I expect that to continue. I expect $15 an hour minimum wage to mean companies will look to automation. Some companies that can't afford it will fire people and the jobs won't be available. And companies that need to hire people are going to look to hire them on contract, hire them without benefits, hire them on limited basis, 3 months, 6 months, and things like this, just like it's been happening. I don't understand why people expect that to change. Now, my next problem with raising the minimum wage is most people that work for the minimum wage don't live in below poverty households, if that makes sense, right? Most people actually working for minimum wage are not supporting their family. They're living with their family who has other people not working for minimum wage in it. And so what you have is the issue of disposable income, right? Now here's the thing. If I was, let's say, a cashier at Loblaws, and I started at $13 an hour, and I've worked 6 months to get a 50-cent raise and 6 months to get a 50-cent raise or whatever, and I got up to $15 an hour now, all of a sudden, I'm at minimum wage. Now you can look at you and be like, raising the floor is good. What they'll tell you is this: 30% of Ontario is being helped because 30% worked for less than $15 an hour, right? What that means to me, though, from the other perspective, is that 30% of Ontario will now be working for minimum wage. I don't see how that's a good thing. And I don't see how you expect that $15 minimum wage in 5 years from now still means what it means today, because it won't, right? The reason cost of living has gone up at the rate that it has in Ontario has to do with partly our energy sector, but partly our wages. What it costs to run a company, to run a business, to employ people. That drives up the cost of products, and that means that, we're raising the low end of the minimum wage, but at the same time, everything you buy is becoming more expensive, and it's getting harder to get by. I believe we have more people that need government assistance or need help from the government or are looking to the government to help them get by in their day-to-day than we did previously. But people are making more money total, right? Like you get $15. It's all relative. Money is not, it doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? Money is worth, the worth of money is based on how hard it is to get that money. If the minimum wage is $10 and you make $15 an hour, you're getting ahead a little bit. If they take that minimum wage and raise it to 15, you are now the floor of the economy. You're the base, the bottom. I don't believe this is a good thing. I don't believe it helps Ontario. So my problem is not that it's going to kill business necessarily, but that it will get votes from people who will not benefit. There's a lot of people that think it sounds nice, it's a progressive thing, it's going to be positive. It's not going to have that positive impact that you expect, but you may swing your vote towards the Liberals, who stole, from my opinion, the NDP idea to raise the minimum wage to $15. So again, this is how I feel. I think it's a change that's being made to win votes, but not actually make a difference in your life. And they're lying to you, telling you that this is going to make it better for poor people. This is going to increase the standard of living of the working poor. Again, we have more working poor since we've been raising minimum wage than we had before we were raising minimum wage. So that's how I feel about it. Again, I'd love to know how you guys think about it. Please do subscribe and leave a comment on the page so we can have a discussion and just join the conversation. You can always get me on Twitter. It's at cupofjoecanada.com. Or sorry, it's just at cupofjoecanada. Or the website is www.cupofjoecanada.com.